Good evening, and welcome to another elementary episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now, here for your edification is your host, the enigmatic Voice of Doom. Hello. I'm a little out of sorts today because I feel good. And I was going to do a little screed about just various things that kind of go together, but I don't know. It's kind of like you find your own connections and meanings out of things. But I'm going to stay on the current events and also fulfill my promise that I will explain how to make things better. So my two subjects are going to cross paths, go back and forth. And one subject is education, and the other subject is unions. And I'm very happy to see the bitter irony, the hilarious irony of how everything that the idiocracy has said and done is coming to bite them on the ass. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. So I work at a bar with a bunch of, people that come up, they're starting to sit at the bar a lot, and we get talking about everything. We're talking about Bitcoin, we're talking about the economy, or we're talking about latest idiocy by Petri Dish. And it's very hard to talk because I can't say anything. And I listen a lot, but then when I say something, people just start talking over me. And I wonder if I'm really here or if I'm just doing this job just for my own entertainment in some, Petri dish or somewhere else, some test tube. And I'm just pretending to be a bartender at this job. And I'm like, well, why am I hassling myself if this isn't real? Because I feel like I'm not here sometimes. It's a weird feeling, but it's when you try to talk and everybody's talking and they don't ever let you say anything. And every time you open your mouth, they start again. And they ask the same question over and over again, or they say something and it's like, well, I think that, and then suddenly they're talking again, or somebody else comes in. It's annoying. So I'm really not here, so I don't know why I'm worrying about my mortgage. And we're just getting off into my personal stuff, which I like to do now and again, because my life is a microcosm of the universe, just like yours. And if you watch my diatribes, you'd understand why. Now, education. Well, first of all, even when I was a kid, I knew that these people who called themselves the adults were delusional. Because I knew what was happening in my family. And I knew that my parents tried their best to do good things for us, and we were pains in the butts. And I remember being pains in the butts, and I remember distinctly causing trouble all the time. And I was the good one. My brothers and sisters, oh my God. We were at each other's throats constantly. And I'd go to church things, and I'd go to whatever, where adults are talking about whatever, or listen to the media sort of, and I'm talking 7th grade, 6th grade, whatever. Not a total infant, but listening, and it's like, oh, the adults are horrible. They don't know how to raise kids. These kids are perfect. And the adults are so horrible. And I'm like, I don't see that. I see where the kids are the jerks. And that's obvious. And everybody knows it. I was an adult and I tried my best. I didn't do everything right, but the kids were pains in the butts. And they did stupid things and they cost me money here and there and they just were idiots. So, and they still are, sort of. But education, now, more money, that's ridiculous. Everybody's sick of that because it only takes so much money to put something on a chalkboard. And if you have to use PowerPoint, well, that's a few more dollars, but in the long run, you can get a lot of use out of that kind of crap. Well, whatever they're using nowadays, I don't know, and I don't want to know. I'm saying that money's out. Now, the second thing is the same thing as the parents. The teachers, they're just not teaching. That's why the kids are getting bad grades. Because every single kid in school wants to succeed. Every single student is striving with all their might, but those teachers are so horrible that they're getting bad grades and they're not reading up to standards. Bullshit, crap, come on. Is everybody on this planet out of it? It's the kids themselves that are stupid. They don't want to try, and I was in high school and I was in middle school. And I did a little bit, but if I could get out of it, I'd get out of it. Elementary school, I was really driven. I wanted to learn because it was all great. Learning how to read, loved it. Basic math, really fun. I exceeded and excelled in that. And you start getting into trigonometry and chemistry. I like biology, but I mean, I like to learn. I went to college just to learn. I didn't get a job out of it. And I'm saying it's not the teachers. And I really get sick of people even saying that, even if the teachers are in a union. And we'll get to the unions later, because it all ties in. The students are lazy. The students don't want to learn. And this is going to go too long if I don't get into my solution. But first, unions. Teachers have unions. They're using something that nobody has any idea what's going on about as a leverage tool to get what they want. And what they want is, we want to be assured that we're going to be totally safe in school. And in the meantime, we want to get paid for not doing anything. So that's fine. That's a political thing. How many teachers are involved in that union? But I see pictures of people who are like supposedly big mucky mucks in politics that run for Georgia governors, or I don't know what they run for. And they're doing a big hullabaloo about her not having a mask. Well, the sad part isn't her. Sad part is the kids. They're all staring at the camera with their masks on. I mean, are we going to lose, smiling? So let's get real. Kids with their masks on posing for the picture. It's pathetic. And I'm using that in the proper sense of the word. Spectacle. They can't smile. I don't want to get all weepy. It's sad and everybody knows it. And people are starting to wake up, but I said they'll wake up to a nightmare because once they wake up, they're going to realize how bad things are. And it's so bad that the Olympics is, forget that. I don't even want to get into that. Let's go into the unions. Now, Petri Dish was going to get everyone good paying union jobs. Remember that? Back when he was halfway sentient. Good paying union jobs. You're not going to have to raise a child on, $5 an hour. Raise a family, whatever. So good paying union jobs, so he's for the unions. Now why do they like the unions? Because the unions are a lot of people that can put a lot of money together for a certain candidate, and then they all vote for that candidate. But when unions, and when I think about unions, there's certain careers that come to mind, and one of them is trucking. So you see how it gets interesting? I always think about trucking industry as being union jobs. They had some, I don't know what the hell they're called. ILWU, I don't know. International Truck, or United Trucking, I don't know. I lived in Hawaii. We knew who the unions were back in the 70s because they had a big effect on our life. But there's trucking unions. And now there's trucking unions starting an insurrection, okay? And they're saying, we don't want to do this anymore like you're saying, and we're not going to do it. And the government's saying, oh, yes, you are. And they're saying, we got the trucks. So unions kind of came back to bite Petri dish on the ass, didn't it? In a really beautiful way. I gotta toast it. Because union jobs, unions. People just can get a job. My dad was in the musicians union. It's great for the picnics. But it's a lot of dues, and they don't come through for you a lot of times as a worker. You know, I'm in the musicians union, so I got to be guaranteed $22 an hour. And I'm talking 1962, okay? And I knew back when I was a kid, the unions were going to ruin us because people were striking all the time when I was in high school in the 70s. They wanted more wages. They wanted more benefits. And I go, if these people keep striking like this and wanting more and more money, sooner or later, the labor's going to, something's going to give. I knew that in high school when I was a junior. And I was stoned. Way more than most of those people. Way more than teachers, that's for damn sure. Except my auto mechanics teacher, I wasn't better than him at that. But I'm saying I could see the writing on the wall with all the strikes going, oh, we want $40 an hour plus dental and plus medical and plus a pension for life for half our salary. And they're getting the pensions. It's draining the country. It's obvious. Come on. I mean, do I have to explain it? So how do the teachers and education and unions? Well, I like the irony of the unions, but I got 2 minutes left to explain how to solve it. I said get rid of public school once and for all and replace it with self-directed educational and community facilities, which will cater to every need you could possibly have, and you can do what you want. If you want to be an electrician or an electronics guy, go to the electronics lab. If you want to play basketball, play basketball. And if you want to do art, because everything you want to get good at, you have to learn more. So you'll have to learn other things. You don't have to be educated the way they tell us to be educated. That's totally wrong, and that's why you see what we have now. About 10 smart people that are working their ass off trying to keep this world together. Or aliens, because I don't know how we do it. Because we're really stupid. Yet the world's very complex. Explain that to me. I can go on about the facilities. You let everybody use it. You have, places where people can put on plays. You use part of the school for that. You have the basketball facilities. You have the fields. People can play baseball. I like science. I want to learn about biology. When you go to the biology department, they have things going on this time. You just pick a time when you want to go. Education could be really beautiful. But it's regimented, and it was always a drag, and nobody wanted to go. I didn't even spend any time in my senior year. I was stoned the whole time. We didn't go to class. We didn't have to. So, I didn't say anything, but I think I said enough. unions, biting Petrie on the ass. I didn't get into the Olympics, but it's bad, just like I predicted. I'm proud of that. Well, that's really hard. The Beijing Olympics aren't going to go well. Great prediction. I said pretty much what I want to say. And I'll get on to something else. I'm sure a disaster is forthcoming, so we'll talk about that later in a few days. Have a good evening, and thank you.